Did I ever tell you about Toby Carvery? Legends say it's a magical place, where dreams come true. A place rich with knowledge long forgotten. It is rumored that the four elders living in Toby Carvery will train you in the arts of the heroes of old. But be warned, only the righteous and just can enter Toby Carvery, for it is the birthplace of true heroes. Yeah, I've been to Toby Carvery. That's me, Dr. True, I'm a hero. That's why I've been to Toby Carvery. If I was like evil, I would not be able to get in, you know? But I've been able to get in, so that means I'm a hero. Yeah, in any case, welcome back to the TrueCast. Yeah, what's Toby Carvery even? Okay, it's a carvery, I guess, you know? It's that type of restaurant, I'm assuming. That's the term, I guess. Basically, the way it works. Okay, first of all, they do have a set menu. So you can order stuff from the menu. It's similar to a pub. They got drinks as well, like beer and stuff. I think they had mocktails. I don't know, I didn't really look at the menu that well. All I knew is I was gonna go for the Toby Carvery Classic, which basically you get to choose between 4 meats. They'll give you a set amount, and you can choose, you know, if you want more of a specific meat, which meats you want. I don't know if they change every day. I'm assuming they kind of don't. So basically, I got to choose between gammon, pork. What's the cow? What's cow called? Beef. Okay, yes. Wait, was it beef? I think it was beef. And I don't remember if it was chicken or turkey, but I'm thinking it was chicken. But I might be wrong. But whatever. I got to choose between these 4. And, you know, I went with my girlfriend and she only took 3. So she got more of the 3. I think she didn't like pork, I think it was. But I was very curious to try them all. So I just got a bit of everything, basically. And so you get these 4 meats. I mean, I got these 4 meats. Then they ask you if you want a Yorkshire pudding, which, by the way, I really love. It's a really cool thing. It looks like a sort of bread cake-ish thing with a crater on top, like if a meteorite landed on it. I mean, Google it, guys. Google it, and you know what I'm talking about. It tastes... I think there's savory ones and sweet ones. Mine was a bit on the sweet side, sort of like pancake mix, you know? Was pretty good. And I don't know if I don't think you're supposed to put stuff on the inside, but I'm not gonna stop you. I mean, I kinda did it. I kinda put some meat and some vegetables in the crater in there. It was nice. I think that's how you should eat it, but I don't think that's how you're supposed to eat it. But you know, you can be rebels. You can be my little rebels. And then you get bottomless, as in sort of you get how much you want of like potato mash, regular baked potatoes. You got peas. That's like an English classic. It was cauliflower, but I don't remember how it was cooked. It was particular. It wasn't like just boiled like that, I think. There was mac and cheese, which was not amazing, but it wasn't bad either. I kind of liked it. I'm just saying I've had better. And so, you know, you fill up this plate. You get this plate, they put the meat on, they put the Yorkshire pudding on. And then it was a huge Yorkshire pudding, by the way. Usually they're much smaller, I think. And then you load up that plate however you like. You know, I think if you've seen the Brexit geezer meme, when they go load up that plate at Toby Carvery, well, that's what I did. It was good, it was nice. And then there's a sort of a condiment unit. There's like an area with all different sauces. The classic English gravy, that's nice. Definitely get some of that. I mean, If you guys are English in my audience, you already know about this. But I'm assuming you're not, or maybe you just wanna hear what I felt like, you know, having this English delicacy. I mean, that was nice though. I did like it a lot actually. This sort of roast dinner thing. The other sauces, you know, you get like 4 different types of mustard. I think one of them was horseradish, but it was still pretty similar. You get cranberry sauce, which I don't think I actually tried, but I have tried in the past. Like, I haven't tried that one, but I know what it tastes like, more or less. Then I tried the applesauce. Oh my god, the applesauce was so good. So incredibly good. It felt like apple jam almost, but creamier, you know, and less gelatinous. It kind of felt like the type of apple cream you will put in pastries, actually. I often get apple turnovers. I love the apple turnovers you can find at Lidl here in the UK. They're amazing. I get them very often. And the cream tasted like the same cream as the apple turnovers. And then, yeah, guys, I just sat at the table with my girlfriend. We had a lovely meal. I really enjoyed it. Got a refillable glass. That's very common in the UK. I'm assuming it's common in the USA as well. I don't know. You guys tell me in the comments if you've ever seen refillable glasses in your country, or if, just like my home country, they're never gonna do it because people will literally go there and fill up bottles. Yeah, that's why we're never gonna do it in Sicily, where I'm from, because people will take advantage of it. People will be like, what? I get to refill it as much as I want? Well, don't mind me refilling my 3 liters bottle with this. You know, classic Palermitan guy, you know, classic person from Palermo. But, yeah, I loved it. I even got there for, went back to the, you know, mac and cheese, potato mash table, you know, with all the food for a second, you know, like portion. Well, I didn't get that much as a second portion, but it was like, you don't get to refill the meat. You don't get to, you know, you don't get more meat and a second Yorkshire pudding, because that will be much more expensive, you know? It was only like, what, £12? Maybe it was less, I don't know. I don't remember exactly, because I also had the drink and I sort of, you know, paid for both. So I don't know how much the drink was, how much the lunch was. Also, I split the bill with my girlfriend. So, again, I'm not entirely sure what the price was, but it was cheap. It's not like a, I don't know, a grill restaurant. You know, like where I work, right in front of there, that's a, there's a restaurant called Copacabana, which is, think Brazilian steakhouse or something like that, but it's a steakhouse. So I think you get there, you eat as much meat as you want, like a buffet, but that's obviously gonna be much more expensive, because, you know, let's be real, meat is more expensive than mac and cheese or potato mash, you know? So that's 100% gonna be more expensive. And so you, honestly, if you go there, eat as much meat as possible. But Toby Carvery is a lot cheaper, so you're not gonna get these kind of deals. The location looked very nice as well. It was like a pub, but posher, you know, fancier, looked nicer. There were like advertisements for psychic readings, which I thought was like a bit interesting, as in weird, you know, you go to a restaurant and there's psychic readings advertisements. Again, I'm calling it a restaurant, but I don't think Toby Carvery, people really think of it as a restaurant. I think they see it mostly as a, I guess as a fancier pub, really. It was full of old people. I wasn't lying when I was telling you about the elders in the beginning of this video, in the intro. Yeah, there were plenty of elders. There were Brexit geezers, as I called them, again from the Brexit geezer meme. And by the way, I basically mean boomers. Yeah, I mean, the people there were older than boomers. They were like proper old codgers, you know? Overall, I definitely recommend it. I loved it. I especially recommend it if you're not English yourself, just like me, and you kinda wanna live more English culture. I know we often feel like, oh, you know, English are this, English are that, they're boring, whatever, you know, but there is English culture. It's in the food as well. And yes, okay, sure, I know a lot of English food is actually not that great, but that doesn't mean there's nothing that can't be enjoyed, you know? At the end of the day, the type of meal was kinda simple, but I still really enjoyed it. I enjoyed the atmosphere, I enjoyed trying the different types of meats, I enjoyed the, you know, bottomless, refillable mac and cheese and potato mash. I enjoyed them a lot, and I cannot like, I swear, I cannot state this enough. I really loved the apple cream. I think it's called apple. I don't remember what exactly it's called. It's like an apple sauce. I swear they call it some specific way, but I don't remember. Oh, and they also had a mint sauce that I didn't mention. It was pretty good as well. I still preferred the apple one, but the mint sauce was pretty good still. So that's crazy, you know? We have stereotypes about the English cuisine being bland and not tasty, and that's actually true to a good amount. But there's still many exceptions. I swear, I love this, and I thought the sauces were amazing. The gravy, English gravy, is amazing as well. So yeah, you know, we're being positive in this podcast. We love to love stuff, you know? Yeah, I genuinely recommend it. If you're in the UK, even as a tourist, and I know it might sound funny, go to Toby Carvery. I swear, if English people listen to me in this video, they're probably gonna find this funny, because Toby Carvery, I think it's like literally a very normal place, but here I am praising it like it's I don't know, some magical place, you know, like it's the coolest restaurant ever. It's really not, but I really enjoyed it, so I am gonna get excited about it. Well, now that I told you about Toby Carvery, we're gonna talk about something that is quite a lot sadder, something that is not as nice, honestly. Yeah, the Pope died. It's a bit sad. Honestly, I'm not even a religious person. Growing up, I was more religious, but I slowly kind of got bored of religion. That's what drove me away, really. Pushed me away. I think that's more correct. But it's also a lot of people in the church were also not that nice. You know, that there was a lot of hypocrisy. You know, people just being kind of assholes and justifying it, going, oh, but I'm not bad, I'm a good person, I go to church. Now, obviously, guys, this is like the minority, okay? I'm sure most people are good people, you know? But, like, I don't want to be negative or anything. I don't want to destroy church for you. It's not an evil place or anything. But, yeah, I mean, between getting bored and seeing how a few people were not that nice, with time I just sort of strayed away, I guess. And I lost the interest. And I just kinda stopped going to church. Let's be real, it was mostly because I was getting bored. I honestly... Guys, the Sunday morning, I prefer staying home and playing video games. Let's be real. I just wanted to play... What was I playing? I think I was playing League of Legends when I stopped going to church. But obviously it might have been many other games. The point being, though, it is still sad. And still sad, especially because Pope Francis seemed to be a good guy. You know, it was very progressive, especially for the church, you know. So, yeah, It's a bit sad. I don't really have, I guess, too many things to say about it, because I didn't really keep up that much, if I have to be honest. I mostly, I guess, feel bad because I remember when he got selected as the Pope. I remember literally being, I think, a 14 or 15 years old, something. Maybe even earlier, maybe I was like 13. Maybe I still went to middle school. But I remember when he, became the new Pope, I was playing Minecraft. And I was playing in this server where you do bosses and stuff. Pretty sure it doesn't exist anymore. Like it hasn't been existing for years now. And I was playing with my friends. And I remember I had, like, on my side the television on. And I was listening to the television while playing. And they said, they were doing the ceremony and elected this new Pope. And everyone started spamming in the chat, Habemus Papam, Habemus Papam, which just means, we have Pope. And I was like, whoa, okay, that's cool. Just like I remembered this. It feels like, and it feels weird. It's been so long, and now I got to think about it again. And I remember a funny detail. One of my friends on call, we could hear his brother. He was inside the room. You could hear his brother speaking. His brother was like older, was like 20, maybe not, maybe he was like 17 or 18, but he was older. And his brother was commenting on it as well with his friends on his call. And he was like, bro, everyone is saying satanic shit. They're saying Habemus Papa. What's this satanic shit? And I was like, the fuck are you talking about? It's literally saying we have Pope. How is that satanic? Are you, not smart? But yeah, I guess it's kind of the end of an era. It's weird. I mean, he's been the Pope for so long. What was it? 10 years? Probably, right? It surely must have been at least 10 years. And yeah, the guy was 88. Okay, so he was old. Okay, it was gonna happen. Because 88 is kinda old, right? I think it's literally past the average lifespan. For men, but also for women. I think it's past the lifespan of women as well. So yeah, it was likely to happen. Plus, I'm pretty sure he had health problems in the past too. Like my mother was telling me he was already kinda sick when he got elected. So then I wonder if now we'll get a younger Pope. Because he died at 88, right? That means he was 78 or 77 when he got elected. So yeah, I'm wondering, will we get a younger Pope? Like, obviously not much younger, but like, I don't know, a 50-year-old, 60-year-old? Like, that level of younger? Probably, right? But I don't know yet. I mean, who knows, maybe by the time I release this video, we will have a new Pope already. I find it kinda hilarious that, like, he died literally the day after he met JD Vance. Like, JD Vance is so evil, he killed the Pope, I don't really like JD Vance. I don't like the current government in the USA, but I don't want to get political. I don't really want to speak about this stuff. Politics are divisive, and this podcast is, to have fun and stuff. But I think at this point, many people will agree with me. I've seen the approval ratings, and he's getting very low approval ratings, and it seems to be dropping still. So, if you guys don't agree with me now, chances are you will agree with me in like a month or two if he keeps, sucking so much. But again, let's not talk about politics. That is not the place. You want to talk about politics, go, I don't know, do you go to Reddit? Pretty sure you can talk politics in Reddit. Well, in specific subreddits, obviously. I've been on Reddit a bit lately, trying to get those karma points to try and get my channel to be noticed more as well. It's not easy, guys. It's really not easy being the owner of a small channel. Obviously, it's also podcast, let's be real. Podcasts probably harder to get famous, to get popular. There's less requests for podcasts, but I am doing what I love, and that's what matters in the end. And I suggest you guys also do what you love, which is liking this podcast, subscribing to the channel, and sharing it with everyone. My god, guys, you love sharing it with everyone so much. It's crazy how much you love it, I know. So I recommend you do that since you love it so much. Moving on to the next topic, we got other news that are kinda sad. My cousin literally just told me, 1 hour ago? He told me that this day of recording, I'm recording this the 28th of April 2025, at 12 o'clock in Spain and Portugal, apparently all the power grid went bye-bye, basically. Went bonkers, and it's not working. So yeah, they have no electricity, which is extremely bad. And I don't know how this happened, and people, I guess, are starting to make conspiracy theories. What if this was an inside job? What if it was terrorism? I think some sort of mistake or messing up happened. Stuff can happen. It's sad though, it's really bad. They're literally back to the Middle Ages right now, apparently. No energy for the hospitals, which are operating on like emergency energy or generators. Think about all the food in homes, restaurants, supermarkets, all the food spoiling because they don't have electricity, and it's probably gonna last the whole day. I mean, possibly, I don't know. I hope they get to fix it soon. But I'm assuming they also need to understand what went wrong, where it went wrong. So it might take, the whole day, possibly. Like, if it's a power cable transporting energy going out, sure, it's only gonna take, half an hour, 1 hour replacing it, maybe even less. But first you gotta find it, right? That could be a problem. And I think even France is having some problem with this right now. So I hope they get to fix it soon. It can be extremely devastating, not only for the economy, but for the people themselves too, obviously. I think we all had, especially when I grew up in Palermo, sometimes, yeah, we did have blackouts, like power outages. It happened. In Palermo it happened, not extremely often, but once, twice, maybe 3 times during the summer. During the whole summer time would happen, sometimes in the winter too. It would just happen. The power grid was kinda weak, and especially in the summer when everyone started using air conditioning, the power grid maybe couldn't handle all this power conditioning. And, we would have outages. And I remember, literally nights spent eating in candlelight. Because, the oven was gas, so that would still work. We could still cook our food. We would cook our food and then eat it in candlelight. Because there was no electricity. Or torches, we would use torches sometimes. And, this will happen in the winter, this will happen in summer, and after dinner we would sometimes play card games. That feels kinda nostalgic. Not gonna lie, I would have preferred playing video games. I'm a gamer at heart, I've always been. I was a huge nerd, I still am, and I would have preferred playing video games, obviously. But that was better than nothing, and now it feels nostalgic. Now it reminds me of, those nights when I was a kid. And the thing was, however, that, it would only happen for 6 hours, 7 hours, usually much less than that. Usually even just 1 hour. Sometimes the power would go out again, like after a half an hour. So you would get you know, 5 hours power, then went out for half an hour, then back in for half an hour, then back out for half an hour, and so on, eventually getting fixed later in the day. But now we're talking about, we're not talking about just a few houses or even, half of the city losing power. We're talking about the whole country, and 2 countries even. So that's extremely bad. Everyone's gonna suffer from it, and if it's not fixed soon, it's gonna really damage people, the economy, everything, sanity. It's damaging, like sanity, by sanity I mean healthcare. It's gonna damage public transportation. It's gonna damage everything. So yeah, hopefully they can get it fixed soon. I'm wishing them luck. My thoughts are with them. Hopefully it all goes well. But now we'll talk about something that is more upbeat instead. Yeah, I'm gonna tell you about the Missing No official group. I don't think I've told you before, and if I did tell you, I might have just, mentioned it sort of in passing when I was reading creepypastas. But yeah, I used to be really, really into Missing No, because a classmate of mine who's still like one of my best friends, I mentioned him in a past video as well, Dario. He introduced me to Missing No when I was in middle school. And I was like, whoa, that's crazy. I didn't know this Pokemon existed. I didn't know about Pokemon glitches like that. That's crazy. Pretty sure at that point I had already played Pokemon on the Nintendo DS as well. So, I was a lot more into Pokemon back then. And this whole thing was crazy to me. And so I started researching. We will sometimes talk about it as well, talk about our findings with Missing No. And now we never really got to experiment with it. Well, first of all, because the glitch to get Missing No in first generation would be, I guess, kinda hard for our age. We were like 10, so it was kinda hard. Then obviously we didn't. Well, I had a copy of Pokemon Blue at least. He didn't, but I did on the Game Boy Color as well, because it was my brother's. So I guess I could have experimented with it, but my first thought was, I don't want to fuck up the cartridge, so I never did. That's good, probably. I don't know. Maybe I wouldn't have messed up the cartridge that badly, but I still rather not have risked it, But yeah, we will talk about it, we will discuss our findings, and eventually we decided, hey, let's make a group on Facebook. Especially because it was the first year we all started having Facebook. I'm pretty sure you needed to be like 18 plus to make a Facebook account back then. Or at the very least, older than we were. But funny enough, it was our music teacher that got us to make a Facebook account because she needed it to share music with us. That was kind of dumb, but whatever. I remember, I'm pretty sure the music in question was Earth Song by Michael Jackson. I might be wrong on this, but yeah, I think it was that one. I think she wanted to share that video with us. She wanted to share that song. She was very into saving nature and stuff, which is good, obviously. But she was a bit crazy, I guess. I don't mean to say it in the offensive way. I don't want to be offensive. She was a weird person, and she discussed kinda inappropriate stuff sometimes, at least inappropriate for our age, but whatever, that's in the past, it's fine. And yeah, we got Facebook because of this, and many of our classmates started started making random Facebook groups. I remember there was literally one group that was the anti-this guy group. So it was literally a group made to bully another classmate of ours. That was like insanely bad. And obviously the mother of this guy got mad. Other parents got mad as well. So there was a whole thing. And that group was abandoned pretty soon. I was never into that group, don't worry. I don't remember ever subscribing to that group. But I do remember, the group being made in the first place. So bad, so bad. Cyberbullying, literally. Although I still don't think the group was used much. But it shouldn't have existed in the first place. Because the guy came to know that the group existed. Obviously he felt shitty about it. How else was he gonna feel about it? But yeah. There were many groups. We started making many groups. And eventually, I remember Darius' cousin also started hanging out with me and him. He was younger, but, we will get him on Skype. I mean, I guess he will just speak with Darius. I don't think I was speaking to him yet. But we decided to form a group of our own group. And obviously, what was the group gonna be about? About Missing No, yeah, what else? We were discussing it almost on the daily, at least from what I remember. So we made a Missing No group. And it was fun. It was nice. We did a few posts, usually would be... I think Dario posted as well, but usually would be mostly me posting. And I remember one time I even tried doing a small like clip show using Windows Movie Maker, where I was like, what's worse or who's stronger, Missing No or Ouija? Which, by the way, Ouija was basically a YouTube poop character. His whole shtick being that you look at him and you become him and he starts spreading like a virus or a zombie. That's what Ouija is. And what it is exactly... It's basically like Luigi, but it looks all weird and creepy and stuff. It was a YouTube poop thing. I really don't think there was ever a creepypasta about it. Although... I feel like I'm gonna Google it soon. After I finish this episode, I'm gonna Google it because I'm curious. So we did our own official group. And I remember one night, well, it wasn't night, it was evening. I had a second account, which was called Flying Missing No. Whatever, don't question her name. I just made a Missing No account and I used the... Because you know how Missing No is a flying type. Not even a flying type, it's a bird type Pokemon, which doesn't even exist. It was a weird thing. But for whatever reason, I made a second account. And I decided to call it Missing No like that. I guess didn't want people to recognize me. Because it was my second account. And I think I made it literally just to... help myself in other games. I feel like I told this story already. Maybe I didn't. Well, it's okay if I retell it, for the newer generations following this podcast now. And now that I had this second account, the idea came into my mind. What if I just use it to have some fun? So I got back on my main account and I invited my second account back on the, inside the group, inside the Missing No official group. And I just started saying gibberish basically. I just started typing in the group chat, literally just question marks. It'll be like question mark, like that. At one point I even started using the Spanish question marks. That, they use a regular one and an upside down one. So it looked like it was all glitched out and stuff. And the other members of the group, keep in mind, they were all kids like us. They were between 8 and maybe 11 at most. They started panicking. They were like, what is happening? Oh my god, missing noise in the group. Oh no. They were like that. And I was literally on a phone call with Dario while we were doing this. And we were both laughing our asses off so much. Oh my god, we were having so much fun. And come on, at the end of the day, it was a very innocuous troll. It's not like we made anyone cry or we harassed anyone. We just sort of pretended we had this weird imposter we had missing now in our group. I think eventually one of the... yeah, pretty sure one of the guys eventually, after... but this was after like 40 minutes to maybe even an hour of us trolling them. After like 60 or 70 messages, finally this guy went to check the profile and noticed that the email used to create this account was basically the same as the email I had on my main account. Literally the only difference is my main email ended in .it, like period .it, while this one ended in period .com, as in commercial. That was the only difference. But apart from that, it was literally the same email. So obviously, who will it be, you know? Obviously it was gonna be me. Cause yeah, you could see, I'm pretty sure you could see, yeah, 100%, you could see the emails of people on Facebook. Maybe they needed to be your friends and they needed to have an open profile. But yeah, you used to be able to see their emails. I don't think you can do it today, pretty sure you can't. I mean, it's about safety, really. I know with the email alone you can't really do that much. But once you have the email, you know, you're already halfway through. You only need the password. So surely hiding the email is gonna make it double as hard, right? Because now you don't only need the password, you also need the email to log into someone else's account. So it's hard to steal accounts. It's privacy, you know? Of course, nowadays we also have, you know, double step verifications and stuff. We have codes that are sent to the phone. We have many more security features that maybe we didn't even have back in the day. Because we got wiser about this stuff. But yeah, that's not the point of the story. The point of the story is, my god, if it was fun. Oh, we really had some fun trolling those guys. And that's it about missing no official group, honestly. We made posts over the years. Not that many, I think it was mostly in the first 2 years of the group existing. Eventually we kinda moved on. At one point we even had a Pokemon fan page. Inspired by another meme Pokemon fan page, but even there we didn't really post that much. Funny enough, we did have quite a few likes and people following the page, even though we barely posted any content. And for some reason we started getting many non-Italian people following it, even though it was an Italian page. It was weird. We started getting like many, I don't know, Arab guys, Indians, Pakistanis. I don't remember. Like I'm not literally. I don't remember because it was too much time ago. But I know that their names were not written in Italian. They were written in some other alphabet. They did not use the Latin alphabet. So I wonder what the hell were they doing there? If they probably couldn't even read that alphabet, you know, let alone the language. Oh yeah, we had this page. That's crazy, right? The missing official group eventually got closed. I think because we were inactive and one of the admins was like, oh, we don't really use this group anymore, we'll just close it. I honestly do not agree with that decision at all. I would have just kept it, you know, just to remember these good times, you know? Just like I will do with my YouTube videos. The first few videos, I know they're not going that well. They're not really getting many views. not even getting many impressions. And obviously, the videos I'm doing now, they're higher quality than the ones I did in the past. I kinda cringe listening to the past ones, like now. I cringe listening to them. And it's only been, what, 2 months? So it's not like I've had 1 or 2 years of improvements. I think I improved a lot. But that's besides the point. I still find them to be of lesser quality. They're not the kind of content I would upload today, you know? I mean, they're still podcasts, so we're talking about type of content. Yeah, it kinda is. But if we're talking about quality, I think they have a much lower quality. It's not even about the equipment, it's literally about me not having the same skills, not being as good in talking, going all the time. I still do it, but a lot less. But even then, the whole point, why I'm telling you all of this, I will still not delete them. I will just leave them there forever. Okay, what if they're a bit embarrassing because I wasn't as good? Whatever, you know, people change, people become better, people say cringe stuff in the past and then maybe they change their mind and they don't want to say it anymore in the future. They wouldn't say the same cringy stuff. And, you know, literally have improved, and even in 2 years, let's say in 2 years I get some fame and people go back and start watching the old videos and they're like, oh my god, Dr. True was so cringe back then. Whatever, I'm a different person now, you know, that's how I see it anyway. In any case, we've been talking for a while now, and I don't have much left to say. But don't worry, I'll come back next week with more topics, and I'll tell you maybe more cool stories, maybe we'll talk about more interesting things happening. I hope you guys enjoyed the episode, I hope you liked it, I hope you subscribed, and I hope you are going to share it with everyone you know. From me, that's all for today. I'll see you in the next episode.